Potato, aka What a Life. It's Noel Gallagher. It's his thing. I was listening to it the other day. I like that song, even if it's a bit repetitive. Good song. I realize now more. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think he's just reflecting on that was like right after Oasis broke up, and the Babbies don't know how big that band was. Not to call anyone out, it's fine, but that band got fucking massive, and there were a lot of drugs and drinking, et cetera, et cetera. They lived, they did the things, and I'm assuming that's him reflecting on that. What a life. I don't know. That's not probably a great life to live for that long. I wouldn't recommend it, I don't think, but I like the music, especially Noel Gallagher's first album. I like a lot of his stuff, actually, because I'm kind of lame, but I especially like that first album. Are those the Cuz Maybe guys? That's, yeah. That's how'd you come to that way of describing them? Not Wonderwall, just Cuz Maybe. That's interesting that's how you distilled that song. I find that fascinating, actually, if I can be completely honest. Vinny, did you know that Hacker has never heard Wonderwall? Well, it's a good thing. Final Fantasy VII Remake has 11 minutes left of updating. Because, yeah, there's an update. This is, by the way, you wanted to see the monkey image? All right. Oh, God, why does it look like that? All right. So, something's kind of screwed up here. This image is like cursed. But here's the image. Here's the monkey image, and it's cropped from me showing it on a stream. And it's me asserting dominance in the monkey pose. And I didn't intend on that. The booth was set up in such a weird way that this is the way I had to, like, take pictures with people. I wasn't angry, but I just became Donkey Kong. So I don't know where the original version of that picture is. But, this year it was the same two people, very nice people. And they were like, Vinny, we took the monkey picture with you. And I'm like, oh. So we recreated it. And there it is.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before.
It's funny because Hacker actually left upon learning this was Wonderwall to maintain that she's never heard Wonderwall. That's dedication. One day you will be in a Walgreens, and one day they're gonna play this, and it's gonna be real weird. Just remember though, he says "cuz maybe." 8 minutes left on the download.
Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves
What a voice. He goes, "You're gonna be the one."
And after all, you're my Wonderwall.
It's so nasally, Liam's voice. It's amazing. Oh my God. I tend to actually kind of prefer like Noel's voice, but Liam can deliver some really amazing performances. I do love "Don't Look Back in Anger" a lot. like a lot. When I saw Noel live, he did that, and it was like the moment of the show, you know. But I listen. I unabashedly love Oasis. I do. Sorry, fuck me. That song has 2 billion plays on fucking Spotify. By the way, what a fucking thing that is. Like, imagine, like, how do you get to that point where you can just stumble upon a song that ends up with 2 billion plays eventually on some arbitrary streaming service? It's nutty, is what that is. That's like, yeah. I'm sure a lot of bands these days or a lot of artists have 2 billion, no problem. But like, yeah, that's a like to me, that song was just everywhere. As I was growing up, it was Champagne Supernova, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger on repeat. Like the classic rock radio stations were playing like grunge and depressed long hair greasy men, which is great. That's the stuff I love. That's the stuff I grew up with. But then like in 1995, I started hearing "Cause Maybe." I'm like, wow. Vinny, you mean Champagne Supernova? Sure. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm just killing time. Again, chat 6 minutes until Final Fantasy updates. But yeah, I do love a lot of their music. Definitely Maybe is a great album. It's an amazing album. What's the Story? Morning Glory is a great album. Be Here Now is a flawed cocaine album, but there's some great shit in there. Yeah, plug the cable in. I don't have the cable. I don't know actually how to play it. I remember it eventually, but you need a capo. I think it's an F sharp. Yeah, it's an F sharp. Same chords as In the Garden. Well, the first chord at least. But that's F sharp minor. Mine's F sharp major. Any Red Vox updates that I want to talk about? Not really. Not yet. Here's what I will say. Okay, so in regards to Wonderwall, I don't know if they knew that Wonderwall was going to be this massive song that eventually became a meme and like kind of transcended them as a band. I don't know if you can predict that kind of thing, but maybe they did. What I'll say for Red Vox, and remember, we are 1.001% of that. But with Red Vox, we have a song called In the Garden. And again, I wouldn't force anyone to listen to the music. If you're not, if you're not here for that, you're not here for that. But that song has 6.5 million on Spotify, which is double almost the previous, the number 2 song. We had no fucking idea that was going to happen. When I had the idea for it and then it started formulating, we were like, oh, this is a cool song. Kind of sounded like a single, but none of us knew that it would be like the song that people would find us through. I kind of thought Settle for Less was going to be more like of a popular song than that. And it is. I mean, there's some love for that one. But I think, you just don't predict when these things hit. So, but here's what I'll say in regards to Red Vox stuff. The amount of people that were pretending to like Red Vox at that convention I was just at was so heartwarming and so beautiful. They came up to me and they had those vinyl that they bought. They're like, oh, he's right there. I'm just going to buy one of his records. I mean, he can see us. What are we going to do? We're going to just walk up to him with nothing? Just buy a fucking CD. Buy a fucking CD. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Buy a poster. But they committed to the bit. I would say, like, if okay, regardless of whether or not that's true, I would say like 60% of the people I met had Redvox stuff. Which again, I mean, if you want to, support the streamer you like, why not buy an album? But people did bring a lot of stuff from home. I thought that was really cool. The band kind of's taken a life on of its own a little bit. I don't know why I had a little stroke mid sentence there, but it has kind of taken on a life of its own. It really Spotify pushed the fuck out of Why Can't This Be Easy, Reno, and In the Garden to the point where those songs have like been the gateway drug for people. And there are now people saying they found my streams through the music. And again, you can't quantify this shit. I'm sure there's some statistics, but I don't know how true that is, but it's kind of neat. It's a really fucking gratifying and cool thing. And it's kind of cool. But again, I had no idea In the Garden was going to be that song for us. I felt like it was good. I felt like we were having a brain blast in a good way. Almost dropped the guitar. And we were happy with how it came out. But to expect that one to be the number one is kind of nuts. So, yeah. If you want Red Vox news, what I can say is we've been steadily working on stuff, and there is definitely like good progress. We have an abundance of songs, an embarrassment of songs, in fact, and embarrassing songs because we have too many, and now we have to figure out which ones to cut. But just stay tuned. As I said in the Q&A, it's installing the update, chat. It's almost done. As I said in the Q&A, my prediction is that there will be a Red Vox album out this year. Probably the end of the year. So, if that's the news you were hoping for, that's the news. If I have any additional information, I'll let you know when I'm ready to share it. But I appreciate that people are feigning interest and want to know these things. That's great. Thanks, chat. So yes, Egotistical Streamer has done enough speaking of his projects, and now we can begin Final Fantasy. The check is in the mail.